And now that it has fulfilled all constitutional requirements to make it the 20th Amendment to the United States Constitution.
Exactly.
We did it! Thank you all for showing up and speaking out today for the all-inclusive, robust state ERA initiative. And thanks to all of our sponsors for helping lead this charge. We are here to let our legislative leaders know, pass the ERA in 2024.
That's right, Kate. We are thrilled to have such an expansive, diverse group of people, young and old, from every corner of this great state, standing here to declare that it's time to refresh our strongest legal document, our Constitution.
It is way past time to embed Minnesota values into our foundational documents by adding an Equal Rights Amendment. With the Dobbs decision, our rights to bodily autonomy were pushed down to the states. We witnessed the first repeal of our rights since the 1800s. My daughter now has less rights than I've enjoyed. We must secure our civil and human rights into the Constitution, out of reach of future legislatures and the courts.
Our rights must not depend upon which party is in power.
No, it shouldn't.
That's why we need them in the Constitution. We all deserve the same right to the same rights, no matter who we look like. Today, let's tell our Minnesota legislators, let the people vote on equality.
Exactly.
Now, we'd like to invite our first group of speakers up to the stage. We have an amazing list of distinguished ERA champions and emerging leaders to hear from today, who will all introduce themselves. Meanwhile, we all say, all the way with ERA! All the way with ERA! All the way with ERA! All the way with ERA!
Good morning. I'm Congresswoman Betty McCollum. I am the daughter of a pro-choice Republican woman who supported the ERA advancing. I represent right now the Minnesota's 4th District. Welcome. And it's an honor to be with you here once again as we gather to say women's basic and fundamental rights must be guaranteed, and they have to be guaranteed in writing in the United States of America's Constitution. That means we need an Equal Rights Amendment. And it's long overdue.
It is.
When the Supreme Court, as Madam Vice President was pointing out, struck down Roe v. Wade, it chose to deny women a constitutional right for reproductive health. They chose to treat women as second-class citizens, people who cannot distinguish what they need for themselves. Now, I have worked my entire public career, and I even think as a Girl Scout standing up for women's rights, to protect and expand. But just think, we've got civil rights that need protection, marriage equality that needs our protection, protection from marginalized communities, and we need an Equal Rights Amendment for protection. You know, in 1972, when I graduated from high school, we had hope that this would happen. And you know what it became? It became a negotiation. Some of you remember that. A negotiation. We could trade off some of our rights in order to have an Equal Rights Amendment. Well, I want you to know how proud I am, and I have my colleagues from the House and the Senate here for Minnesota and the work that it did to try to get a ballot initiative. This year, I hope they try again, and with your help, they will be successful. right, Betty? Betty Folliard and I served together. I see my twin brother, Keith. So I want to thank you for being here. We can make this happen. We can get a yes on ERA. We can make sure our daughters, our nieces, and their family members never have to worry about their rights being protected. Thank you for being here.
You know, I must say, when I was coming down the stairs, I heard you fired up and ready to go.
Yes, you did.
And you know what? I heard the great pastor that was up here and leading you in some chants. And before I give my words, will you do something for me? Will you do something for me? Repeat this after me. Fired up.
Fire up.
Ready to go.
Ready to go.
Come on, fired up. Ready to go.
Ready to go.
Anybody fired up and ready to go because we want the ERA passed this year? Let me just briefly and expeditiously just say how excited I am to be here, but I'm going to be more excited once the work is done. I want to thank, first of all, Betty Folliard. Could you give her a hand, because she's been working for such a long time, and others, in order to make certain that the rights of women are respected. And you know, every single day when I walk into office, I see people like Shamika Bogan, who's right over there filming me right now. Or Lexis Varner, who is standing right there making sure I do everything right. And we also have an intern by the name of Ava. Strong women who deserve to be respected and the humanity seen, and we want to do everything to make sure that every girl and every boy, everybody has a right to go forward with our values intact. Because it's about equality. And when you think about it, the Equal Rights Amendment is an open declaration that our humanity should be acknowledged and appreciated. Historically, African Americans, as you know, we've had to struggle through a whole lot. But Martin Luther King got it right. He said a threat to justice anywhere is a threat to justice
everywhere.
We want to change that in the great state of Minnesota. Put your hands together so that we can go forward. African Americans have always had to make sure that we are not considered 3/5 humans because our humanity needs to be seen.
Yes.
The fight continues to make certain that we all are treated and recognized equally. So the drive to place our ballot on our ballot and this amendment to our Constitution is warranted and long overdue. We don't want to wake up not after the next general election without us having voted for this ballot initiative, and we as senators and we as House members are going to do our part because Minnesota is going to do their part. And I believe the time is now for Minnesotans to be given an opportunity to weigh in, as I believe their voice should be heard. So again, thank you for having me, and know that I am standing with you, because when we stand together, big things can happen, because I'm fired up and ready to go. Anybody else fired up and ready to go? Put your hands together. Thank you.
Thank you, President Champion. I don't know how I'm going to get you all charged up after that, but I'm State Senator Mary Kunish. I represent District 39. I'm a proud Lakota woman. I'm the Chair of Education Finance, retired teacher of 25 years, and the proud mother of 2 daughters and 2 granddaughters. In this state of being right now, my daughters would have less rights than their brother. My 7 brothers would have more rights than my 5 sisters. And we look around here at all the women that have been working and fighting just to get this declaration of civil rights and human rights into our state constitution. And there are folks down here that I see everywhere that come out and support us. 6 years ago, I was in the Minnesota House, and we brought the Equal Rights Amendment up. We changed one word to gender. And those folks around the world, across the aisle, lost it because we changed it to gender. But we persevered, and we passed that legislation off the House floor. Fast forward a couple of years, and I'm in the Senate. And what did we do last year, everybody? We passed it off the Senate floor. But now we've come back and we've made it even more robust. We've identified those areas, such as our own reproductive freedom, to make it even better, to make it even stronger. And I can't thank the organizations that spent so much time this summer, like Gender Justice and Indivisible and all those different groups, to make sure that every single one of us, whether we're a girl, a boy, a man, a woman, LGBTQ, two-spirit, we all have the same rights. Nobody has more rights than anybody else, and we're going to make sure that we get it into our state constitution. So this is the year, everybody. This is the year. Got to get it through the House. We need all of your support. Got to bring it back to the Senate and sell it one more time. I'm hoping that 3 times is the charm. But I'm ready, I'm willing, I'm able, and with all of your support, we're going to do that. So thank you all for being here today, and let's say E-R-A, E-R-A, E-R-A. Thank you so much.
Thank you, speakers. This is our time. There are no qualifiers in equality, no carve-outs. All means all.
Woo!
While the next 4 speakers take the stage, we want you to know that directly after we conclude today's rally, you're invited to go up 1 floor to the House and Senate chambers to welcome legislators back from the interim break.
Hello everyone, my name is Maddie and I am joined by my fellow Minnetonka High School students. Liam, Alexa, and Emily. We are here today to represent young people who support the Equal Rights Amendment, a vital issue of concern to democracy today. We are also speaking on behalf of the League of Women Voters Minnesota, a nonpartisan organization who will celebrate its 104th birthday this week.
Having the right to vote and supporting issues that strengthen our democracy go hand in hand. With the League and an advanced studies program called Vantage, we completed a survey of 18 to 35-year-olds to better understand support for the ERA. And we are excited to share what we see as necessary protections for our generation and for all Minnesotans.
As voters, community members, and leaders, we demand the state's constitution to reflect our values of equal opportunity and freedom from discrimination.
We hope to see the ERA cross the finish line with the many groups and individuals here today. But that means we must continue to engage our friends, family members, and everyone who is protected by this amendment. With the passage of the ERA, we can create a better future for all of us.
Absolutely.
And we are honored to add our voices to this fight for equal rights.
Yes! Yes!
Let's finish what we started. Thank you.
You bet. I'm with you, sister. I'm with you. No more bullshit.
All right, we'll invite our next speakers up. Just to keep the energy there, we're going to say ho ho! Hey, hey! Equal rights are here to stay! Ho ho!
Everybody, ERA! ERA now! ERA right now! You know, my name's Keith Ellison, and I'm your Attorney General. And I just want to let you know that the best way to fight against a backlash is to go on offense. Whenever you find that people are trying to take your rights away, rather than curl up and hope it stops, it is right and it is just to fight back and push even further than ever before. And I know many of you in this hall today are thinking about jobs. You're thinking about the fact that women who are above, I don't know, a certain age have more rights, understood what it meant to have a guaranteed right to protect your own body. And little girls today and young women may not know that until we change it back. But let's not just go back. Let's go further than ever before. Let's not just fix what they broke, but let's build something even higher. The ERA is the way. The ERA is the thing. The ERA is the thing that can make our society the one thing that where we can stand up and say liberty and justice for all really does mean all. Right now, it says that, but does it really mean it? The fact is we can change that if we organize. Now this is truly an organizing challenge. We cannot have any group in our community left out of this conversation. We've got to go to every inch of this state. We've got to go to every neighborhood. We've got to go to every suburb. We've got to go to every city. We've got to go to every farm. We've got to go to men. We've got to go to certainly all women. We've got to go to new Americans, and we've got to go to people who've been here for many generations, because ERA is everybody's business. ERA will make everyone's life better. ERA is going to lift all boats so that we all can truly live up to equal justice for all, liberty and justice for all. ERA today, ERA now. Let's pass the ERA. Thank you.
Thank you, Keith Ellison. Hi, everybody. I'm Jamie Long. I'm the Majority Leader in the Minnesota House. It's good to be with you all today. So we had a pretty good year in 2023, didn't we? And we had a good year for equality in 2023. We stood up for paid family and medical leave, right? So that folks get access to time off when they have a birth, right? We passed the strongest reproductive rights law in the country last year with the PRO Act. We passed a law that says if Texas or Florida wants to come after folks in Minnesota who are providing care, they can't do that. We will say no to that. We will protect people who are providing reproductive rights in Minnesota. But our work's not done, is it? That's why we're all here today. That's why we're wearing green today. I'm wearing this color green. This was my mom's because my mom faced discrimination. When she was in college, she wanted to be a geologist more than anything. That's what she wanted to study, and it was an all-men's department, and they told her women don't become geologists. You can't do that. So she didn't. She changed career paths. But you know what my mom did have? She lived under Roe v. Wade for most of her life. Right? I can't say the same for my 5-year-old daughter right now. Right? We can't live in a country where our moms or our grandmothers have more rights than our daughters, right? It's good that we have statutory protection in Minnesota, but we've seen what courts can do. They can take away our rights, can't they? We need protection right now in the Minnesota Constitution for reproductive rights. And we need protection for equal rights for all. This has been a fight for decades. This has been a fight at the national level. This has been a fight at the state level, and we are going to get it done this year. So thank you all for being here. Who's ready to pass ERA in 2024? Thank you all. We're going to get it done.
morning. I'm Megan Gage-Finn, and I serve as a Senior Associate Pastor at Westminster Presbyterian Church in downtown Minneapolis. There are generations who fought and prayed and paved the way for me to be ordained and serve out my call in the life of the church and to serve my call for justice. And we need to do the same in our call to pass the ERA. As a person of faith, I believe in the values of this amendment in the full equality for all people, the full humanity for all people. From my perspective, we are all equal in the eyes of God, and working for justice is at the core of my faith. We have the opportunity with this amendment to ensure that our own rights here in Minnesota will be protected now and for generations to come. It is imperative that the legislature pass the ERA amendment this season, securing rights, equal rights and protections for all Minnesotans, once and for all. When the Equal Rights Amendment was introduced in Seneca Falls, New York in 1923, at the First Presbyterian Church of Seneca Falls, those leaders imagined a world where all have equal rights under the law. We have waited far too long for this imagined world to become a reality. We are called to fulfill their mission and promise with no exceptions, no limitations.
No excuses.
In Minnesota, we believe in freedom and fairness and a change that offers the strongest possible protections against any form of discrimination, including pregnancy outcomes, gender identity and expression, and sexual orientation.
How about disability? Why is that not mentioned? What's going on here?
Too many of our fellow Minnesotans are vulnerable.
I'm angry that that's
And
not
we need
mentioned.
constitutional protections that cannot be rolled back.
Why is
We
that
can
not
pass
mentioned?
one of the strongest equal rights amendments in the United States here in Minnesota. Friends, we must work together for good. Working together for good is justice for all. Thank you.
Now let's give a warm hand of applause for our next speakers. Some of my favorite people.
Can you guys see me over this podium? Yeah. Good morning, my ERA family. Thank you for being here. I'm State Representative Kali Herr. I am the chief author on the House side of this amazing ERA bill. And I am joined here with all of my colleagues from both the House and the Senate, and Auditor Blaha, who just can be anywhere at any time. But we are all here standing together because we all know how important this bill is. So last year, as Senator Kunish mentioned, the House passed the bill. I mean, the Senate, not the House. The Senate passed the bill, and the House waited on it. And I was really disappointed at that time, but I realized it was the right decision because we were able to spend months working with our partners to come up with the most inclusive language we could come up with. And that makes me super proud to know that our bill is going to be the most inclusive in the country, and that was worth the time. And I don't want to look backwards. What I want to do is look forward to what we have coming, and that we have commitment from our leaders to say we are going to pass it this year, that we are going to pass it early in session, which we've already been talking about the days of the floor session that we can actually bring this bill up for. And so I'm really excited to share with all of you that before February is over, we should have had the bill heard and passed off of the House floor. And I I want to just say that I couldn't have done this work without all of my colleagues behind me, because this was such an important issue, and because it is going to be the most inclusive language. The Reproductive Freedom Caucus, which is led by Senator Port and I from the House and the Senate, is that it is one of our top priorities to get done in 2024. And so I want to just thank you all for continuing to show up. It has been a long journey. Some of you have been showing up for decade after decade after decade. This is the year that it gets done. We no longer will have to wait. Thank you all so much for your time. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you so much for your support. ERA now.
Not one more year. Not one more year. Not one more year.
Good morning, champions for equality. Hello. I'm Megan Peterson. I'm the Executive Director of Gender Justice. As you may know, we bring lawsuits and work to pass new policies that advance gender equity through the law. So we're the people who will put the ERA to work in our state courts as soon as it's adopted. Yes. We know it is time in our great state to ensure that we have equality for all with no exceptions. In Minnesota, we believe in freedom and that our protections in our Constitution and laws should apply equally to everyone. It is our civic right and responsibility to make sure it reflects our values as fully and as clearly as possible. At a moment when people's freedoms are under attack at the U.S. Supreme Court and in far too many states across the country, we must do everything we can to protect our rights here in Minnesota. Passing the ERA has been a dream for so many for so long, and as I look out across the room today, I know that we are finally on the precipice of making it a reality. In 2023, lawmakers in other states introduced nearly 1,100 bills aimed at restricting reproductive rights and healthcare access. And they enacted 148 of them. Meanwhile, here in Minnesota, in a single extraordinary legislative session, lawmakers systematically dismantled barriers that anti-abortion extremists had been putting in place for over 5 decades. And in 2023, when other states passed laws attacking transgender people's right to access medical care and simply exist in society as their true selves, we said, not in Minnesota. So now here we are on the first day of our new session, and it is now our time. We can guarantee equal protection under the law, regardless of sex and gender, and we can do it in an intersectional way, recognizing that structural oppression doesn't happen in a vacuum. Yes, that's why our version of the ERA will also protect equality on the basis of race, color, ancestry, national origin, and disability alongside sex and gender. This is our opportunity to pass one of the strongest equal rights amendments in the country. Minnesota will once again be a leader nationally in guaranteeing equal rights and protections for everyone without exception, and serve as a beacon of hope to people across the U.S. whose rights and freedoms have been under attack. Together, let's raise our collective voice, embrace our collective power, and protect our rights now and far into the future, once and for all. Let's pass the ERA. Good morning, Minnesota! My name is Bernie Burnham, and I'm the president of the Minnesota AFL-CIO. The state has more than 1,000 local union plus members who come from every walk of the same values. We believe that everyone, no matter what they look like, where they live, and no matter what their gender identity or where they were born, deserve to be treated with dignity and respect. That's right. By and large, most Minnesotans
values. But we can't really rely on goodwill alone to secure that dignity and respect. In the labor movement, we live by saying that a boss's promises are temporary, but a union contract is in writing. We say this because we know that circumstances can change. There might be a good boss today, but unless it's in writing, the next boss can always take away the gains we make as workers. It's why we need the Minnesota ERA. Because we're seeing what happens in other states when gender equality isn't enshrined in either state or federal constitutions. We might have supportive leaders right now, but we know that a single election can turn everything upside down and put our rights at risk. And on behalf of Minnesota's labor movement, I'm here to tell you that union members are committed to making sure gender equality is enshrined in our state's constitution. Simply put, the ERA is going to be our union contract for gender equality, and we are going to stand in solidarity to fight for that fair contract. Again, no matter what they look like, where they live, where they were born, and no matter their gender identity, everybody deserves a great life, and ERA is the way to go. Let's go!
Good morning, everyone. My name is Bishara Mohammed, and I am the Civic Engagement Manager for Reviving the Islamic Sisterhood for Empowerment. I love the energy and as a Black Muslim woman in Minnesota, I strongly support the Equal Rights Amendment as it represents a crucial step towards ensuring equality for all individuals, regardless of gender. With the disparities in Minnesota where minority women who look like me are excluded from equal pay, the Equal Rights Amendments will provide much needed legal protections against discrimination, allowing us to pursue our aspiration without fear or bias or prejudice. By championing gender equality, we can create a more just and inclusive society where every person has the opportunity to thrive based on their abilities and not their gender or background. Let's stand together to support the ERA and build a future where all voices are heard and respected this year.
Good morning. My name is Kelsey Waits. As a queer woman and a mother to 2 amazing children, I am so excited to be standing here with you today on behalf of AAUW Minnesota. It is past time for this legislation. My 13-year-old daughter deserves equality under the law and the right to make decisions about her own body. My 10-year-old non-binary child equally deserves the right to bodily autonomy and the right to exist as their full, authentic self in this society. We cannot advocate for gender equity without advocating for gender equity for all. As we push forward this Equal Rights Amendment, we will continue to hear detractors claiming that an amendment such as this is not necessary. Because in Minnesota, we already have the Minnesota Human Rights Act, which prohibits discrimination against Minnesotans based on race, religion, sexual orientation, gender identity, and more. They'll also say Minnesota already has some of the most progressive legislation regarding reproductive freedom, and we have explicit protections for trans folks. Those against the ERA will also point out that we have court cases that have upheld these rights over and over again. And yet, if the ERA does nothing, why are they pushing so hard against it? Because the protections offered by an Equal Rights Amendment go beyond the protections already afforded in Minnesota. An ERA ensures that future legislatures can't pull back hard-fought freedoms we have passed into Minnesota law. It ensures courts cannot overturn precedent, as we saw with Dobbs. A robust ERA offers the strongest protections to ensure equality under the law for all Minnesotans. My 13-year-old helped me decide to wear white today as we harken back to the 1900s as women fought for suffrage. Their work led to the 19th Amendment, and we are incredibly grateful for that, and we can also acknowledge that their advocacy work left people behind. Not this time. We are in a moment of a new equality movement, an equality movement that protects all women, and this time, we are not leaving anyone behind.
Okay. Okay.
Go for it.
All right, we're introducing our last set of speakers. Okay. Okay. Last set, really. Hang on.
Hi there, my name is Kat Rohn, and I am the Executive Director for Outfront Minnesota. Outfront Minnesota is our state's largest LGBTQ advocacy organization with a more than 35-year history of advocating for equality here in the state. And I am proud to be standing with my fellow community leaders, legislative champions, and all of you here in the People's House as we kick off session with a rally for equality. Only a few weeks ago, I was watching hearings on a bill that would have stripped gender identity from the list of protected classes in Iowa's civil rights law. That bill was thankfully defeated through the tremendous work of organizers in our neighbor to the south, but the reality is, we live in a moment when there is a coordinated national effort to strip LGBTQ people of hard-won protections and push us out of public life and back into the closet. We won't go back. But more importantly, here in Minnesota, we have an opportunity to continue moving forward, to tell a very different narrative, but one that I think reflects our state's values. Minnesota's history around LGBTQ rights bears that out. In 1975, Minneapolis passed fully inclusive non-discrimination protections at a city level. The state followed with groundbreaking protections to the Minnesota Human Rights Act in 1993, and just over a decade ago, our state resoundingly showed the world that love is the law here in Minnesota. This last year, as Minnesota's Trans Refuge Act was signed into law, trans folks and their families all over this country looked to Minnesota as a beacon of hope. And with our state's fully inclusive Equal Rights Amendment, we can write another chapter in that story. Make no mistake, no single act can deliver the promise of equality to all Minnesotans, but the passage of an Equal Rights Amendment honors the legacy of those who have fought hard for equality here in Minnesota over many years, and it serves as a commitment to the generations to come. Together, we will continue to do that work. I believe in a Minnesota where we all have the right to make choices about our bodies, our lives, and our futures, where we can live not just free from discrimination, but where we are truly free to lead lives of opportunity, autonomy, and full self-expression. I am proud to stand with all of you all as we push the ERA forward. Let us pass this fully inclusive Equal Rights Amendment and continue building a state where we all belong. Thank you.
Our organization nationally was founded in 1901, and the work that we've been doing for decades has been surfaced around equality. So when I look around and I see ERA, I take that E, I know it stands for equal rights for everyone, but I'm saying that E stands for me for everyone. Everyone. We have been working tirelessly in the city of Minneapolis and abroad to make sure that we eradicate all of the injustices that we are facing. As a black woman, I face some form of injustice every day. Every day, not some days, every day. So this is a great platform, and it's good to say, you know, rah, 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 but there's some work that really has to happen. And so beyond the chance, we have work to do. So yes, we need to pass the ERA, but in addition to that, there's plenty other acts that need to be supported and passed. The African American Preservation Act, dealing with our black children, we have to pass that act. So I stand in solidarity with the ERA, and I'm knowing that when we come back to get our support from you for this African American Preservation Act, you guys will show up just like this. So this is not just for now, this is for forever. So in order to get this type of impact, we gotta stand together for everyone. So I'm not here to preach, but I am here to make a statement about the injustices that have been plaguing us for decades, and now when I look around here and I see these women, it's a beautiful thing. But it's not just for women, it's for everyone. And so I want to make sure that I preface that, because the importance of human life is what is important here. Not just women, but everyone. When you see me on the street and I'm in need, that's a human life. So that's what I want us to focus on. Yes, ERA, but yes, humanity. Yes to the African American Preservation Act. We will get these things passed this year. Thank you.
Before we close out today's session, I want to invite all of my legislative friends to come back up. All of my partners in justice to join me up here on the stage. And I just have to say to all of you, wow, what a rush. It's been a long time coming, has it not? That is right, and I can tell you that we stand with giants on this stage today, standing alongside us as we get this work done. Today, I stand before all of you, and I ask that we walk boldly, my friends. It's a new day. For today, we stand on the shoulders of giants. We stand on the shoulders of powerful women who came before us. Women who walked boldly long before their time. They endured discrimination, disrespect, and disregard. It is these things that have made them qualified to understand the power of determination and hard work. These warriors knew the power of resistance and the power of persistence. shade they may never enjoy, but not today. These warrior women planted entire groves, entire forests, the world over. And I have news for everyone in this room. We are those seeds. Over the generations, we have grown tall. We have grown strong. We have grown powerful. When we endured discrimination, we grew taller. When we endured defeat, we grew stronger. When we endured setbacks, we grew more powerful. We learned that racism, sexism, and discrimination are not ranked, they are linked. We grew strong in the knowledge that we must lift up all of our sisters and brothers. And I mean all. We must lift up all people. For when one of us is not equal, none of us are truly free. So I stand before you today and I ask you, like the warriors before us, walk boldly towards dignity. Walk boldly towards freedom. Walk boldly towards equality. Walk boldly and claim rights over our own bodies. And finally, walk boldly to claim our destiny. Because right now, it is our time. It is our time to cement history with the ERA. It is our time to declare Minnesota is a discrimination-free zone. Finally, it is our time. So I ask everyone in this room to open your hearts, to open your minds, and find deep down that energy that you have brought to the table for generations. Seize it. Walk boldly, warriors. Walk boldly.
Sorry, I'm Kate Quinlan-Laird, I'm the Vice President of ERA Minnesota.
I'm Curtis Johnson, the President of ERA Minnesota. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all of our powerful equal rights speakers and to thank you to our wonderful volunteers and to everyone who came out today. You guys are amazing. The hard work is still ahead of us, but together we will see it through because every Minnesota deserves the same right to the same rights. I'll also add, being that it's Black History Month, that the time is always right to do what is right. And what is right is to pass the ERA.
Thank you, Curtis. We'd also like to give a shout out to our phenomenal co-sponsors that are here today. The AAUW of Minnesota and the AAUW of Minneapolis. Our national partners, Equal Means Equal and ERA Coalition. Our fabulous friends of Gender Justice, Generation Ratified, Indivisible, Sue Scott's Island of Discarded Women, Jewish Community Action, yes, the League of Women Voters, the Minneapolis Foundation, the Minnesota AFL-CIO, the Minnesota chapter of the National Organization of Women, the NAACP Minneapolis, the National Council
One Minnesota, out front Minnesota, reviving sisterhood, rock what you've got, shattering glass, take action Minnesota, unrestrict Minnesota, the Women's Foundation of Minnesota, Women's March Minnesota, and the YWCA of Minneapolis.
It's hard to follow that. Okay, finally, some logistics. We invite you now to join one of our team leads to swarm the Capitol.